Welcome everyone, True Smog here, and today I'm bringing you the next guide in the DPS lineup, and that is going to be the Havoc Demon Hunter. The Havoc Demon Hunters really haven't changed a whole lot. They're still a pretty fast-paced DPS class, lots of mobility, and still a lot of fun to play. As a reminder guys, I do stream on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Links are going to be down in the description below. As always guys, if you do enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button and turn those notifications on so you know when the next DPS guide and updates do go live, as I will be periodically updating these videos as more information comes down. If it is just a minor tweak, make sure to check out the comments below, as I will be pinning updated information down there for you guys. All right, with that guys, let's get into it. Everything you need to know to play a Havoc Demon Hunter in Shadowlands. Let's go over some of the strengths of the Demon Hunter. They are definitely a mobile class. They can move around and change targets without much issue. Very easy to get them into position. They have very good cooldowns for providing high burst DPS. They're pretty easy to pick up. If you haven't played one, you'll be playing with it a little bit and you'll pretty much get a hang of it pretty quickly. They have very good group utility, especially with Chaos Brand, as well as very good survival tools. All right, so the weaknesses for the Demon Hunter: they definitely have some RNG when it comes to resource pooling, and that can become a little bit of an issue. Most of their damage is tied to cooldowns, so outside of those cooldowns, they do suffer in the damage range at times. All right, so the stat priority for the Demon Hunter, number one is far and away agility. After that, it is haste and versatility are almost neck and neck. Both of them are very, very good. Number three is going to be critical strike, and then your final one that you'll look for is mastery. As always, these things can change depending on your gear, and I do recommend that you sim yourself using Simulation Craft or over at Raidbots. All right, so as far as gems go, you definitely want to get haste. On your rings, you're going to do the Tenet of Haste. On your boots, you'll take Eternal Agility. On your chest, Eternal Stats. And then on the enchant for your main hand, you'll take Celestial Guidance. Your offhand will be Lightless Force. Now, if you want to go purely AoE, you can take Lifeless Force on both weapons. Also, if you want to just go purely single target, instead of using Lifeless Force on your secondary, you can take Sinful Revelation. All right, always make sure that you're trying to use Shadow Core Oil if you have the access to it, as it does help tremendously. The Potion of Spectral Agility is going to be your primary potion. For food, in raid situations, always Gluttonous Hedonism, but after that you will take Haste, which is the Tenebris Crown Roast Aspic. Or depending on your gear, you may use the versatility one, which is the Steak a la Mode. Oh, I'm hungry now. All right, so let's go ahead and get into your talent build. As always, I'm going to go through and talk about both your single target and AoE specs for Mythic Plus. And then at the end, I will show side by side the talent trees. The talent tree that is on the left will always be single target. The talent tree on the right will be your AoE and Mythic Plus talent guide. Okay, so level 15. So Fellblade is going to give you an ability to charge your target. It's also going to have Demon Bites, and Demon Blade's going to have a 20% chance to reset the cooldown. This one pairs very well with Demon Blades, which is a talent that we'll talk about here in the next tier. It gives you basically a Fury regeneration rate that basically you would not have had. And it also pairs very well with First Blood, which is a single target orientation, which is also later down in the tier. So for single target, Fellblade is definitely the one I would go with. So for AoE, Blind Fury is very good. It basically will increase the channel time and the number of I-beam ticks by 50%, and then you'll regenerate 40 Fury every second. This one pairs very well with a later talent, which is Cycle of Hatred, making this the go-to choice for AoE. All right, so level 25, Insatiable Hunger basically increases the damage of your Demon's Bite by 20% and causes it to add an additional 5 to 10 Fury. Demon Blades, which replaces Demon Bite, also is a very good choice, for especially in single target situations, as it does, as previously mentioned, does pair very well with Fellblade, which is what you took in level 15. It does have a little bit of sensitivity to downtime and very RNG. So you actually can take Insatiable Hunger in this position as well as single target, but I would recommend trying out Demon Blades or single target Insatiable Hunger for AoE. All right, so level 30 Glaive Tempest is going to be the choice for both single target and AoE here. It does heavy chaos damage over a 3 seconds and an 8-yard radius, and also can be reduced by haste. Level 35, this is going to be your survivability tier. You can take whichever one you like here. It doesn't have any impact on your DPS. Personally, I like Soul Rending as it does give you a 5% leech, and you get a 25% leech when you are in Metamorphosis. So for me, on both sides, I would take Soul Rending. All right, so level 40, First Blood, as we talked about a little bit earlier. It reduces the cost of Blade Dance by 20 Fury and also increases the damage by 200% to the very first target it hits, making this a very strong single target choice. And Cycle of Hatred, basically anytime Chaos Strike refunds Fury, it reduces the cooldown on I-Beam by 3 seconds. Cycle of Hatred is very good for AoE situations, and that is what I recommend for AoE. First Blood is definitely very single target oriented, and that is the choice you should make should you find yourself in a single target encounter. All right, so level 45 is another one that basically has no real impact on you. You can basically choose whichever one you want. I personally like Master of the Glaive just because I like 2 charges of Throw Glaive, as well as it adds a slow to it, which could be beneficial in certain situations, but whichever choice you want here for depending on the situation is just fine. All right, so level 50, this is going to be the same for both single target and AoE, and that is going to be Demonic. Demonic is just really, really good. It basically gives you 6 seconds of more Metamorphosis after you cast an I-Beam, and that increased damage and haste from it is just too good not to take. All right, so here is your side-by-side comparison for your single target and your AoE. Single target is on the left side, and AoE Mythic Plus is on the right side. All right, so let's go through your single target rotation, and then we will go through your multi-target rotation. But just as a reminder, this is basically just as a generic kind of going through your rotation, and it is not the end-all be-all. Obviously, in different situations, you will need to do some adjustments, and as you learn your class, you guys will be able to better handle that. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into your single target rotation. First thing you want to do is, if you have Metamorphosis, go ahead and cast Metamorphosis, obviously making sure that I-Beam is on cooldown when you do so. Cast your Glaive Tempest on cooldown, hit that Emulation Aura, use your I-Beam and cast Chaos Strike, and then finally use Demon's Bite or Demon's Blades to gain Fury. Even in single target situations, you're going to be using that I-Beam, even though it is typically considered an AoE thing because of the generation of haste that it gives you at the end. So that's what makes I-Beam very beneficial in single target situations. All right, so as far as AoE goes, there's not a whole lot of difference. Some minor things. You're basically just making sure that you're really using I-Beam to get as many targets, and you're not wasting the I-Beam on the single target, especially if you know there's a wave of mobs that are going to be coming at you. Important to note, though, if you are using the recommendation of Cycle of Hatred, you will never cast Blade Dance, as it is more beneficial to reduce the cooldown on I-Beam than it is to get the damage from Blade Dance. So what you're going to want to do for AoE, precast that Immolation Aura, use your Fell Rush to engage, use I-Beam, and that should trigger your Metamorphosis from using Demonic. Then cast your Metamorphosis to go ahead and enter that. Cast your I-Beam, and then go ahead and continue on with the single target rotation that we gave you earlier, which is going to be casting Glaive Tempest on cooldown, refreshing Immolation Aura, I-Beam, and then using Demon's Bite to generate your Fury. All right, so as for Covenants, Conduits, and Soulbinds, overall, your Covenants are actually very, very close for the Havoc Demon Hunter. One may barely outshine the other, but it's so negligible that regardless of which one you choose, you're going to be fine in any situation. Overall, the Venthyr paired with Nagia, the Mistblade, is currently probably the best, with possibly Kyrian paired with Forgelight Prime Mechanicos. I don't know if I said that right or not, but it's fun to say. Basically doing a little better in AoE situations. As far as the best conduits go, Growing Inferno is probably the best overall choice. It's going to be very good for single target as well as AoE situations. Relentless Onslaught with the 5% chance for Chaos Strike to generate an additional Chaos Strike is probably going to be your best single target one. All right, so as far as your legendaries go, there is a couple of them that are worth noting here. Collective Anguish is probably going to be your best one for single target and AoE, especially if you're using that Cycle of Hatred. And basically anytime you cast I-Beam, is going to summon a Demon Hunter who's going to cast Fell Devastation. All right, so as far as Torghast goes, on level 15, I'm going to recommend Demonic Appetite is probably going to be the choice here, just because every time you use Chaos Strike, it gives you a 30% chance to generate a Soul Shard. And anytime you consume one of those Soul Shards, that gives you a 30 Fury. Blind Fury is also good here, but the survivability along with the number of mobs that you're going to have to be dealing with just makes the demonic appetite a little bit better. Level 25, Insatiable Hunger is probably the pick here. You can actually for any of those ones that you want for your Fury generation. I do like Insatiable Hunger, and that is probably the choice that I would go with here. Level 30, I really just like Glaive Tempest. It's an extra burst of AoE that you have on pull, and it can help you clear out additional mobs. Level 35, again, Soul Rending is just so good with the survivability, and it scales up as you increase and your difficulty increases. This is going to be very beneficial. So here, depending on what you want to go with, I would recommend Cycle of Hatred, just because it does pair very well with Demonic and it gives you a little bit more uptime with that metamorphosis. Level 45, this is basically just your crowd control. Unleash Power does allow you to do a little bit more AoE stuns, whereas Fell Eruption allows you to cast off more single target interrupt. Level 50 Demonic, again, is just so good. I would recommend this one in all situations. Really good Anima for the Demon Hunter. Dark Ornaments, every single time you kill an enemy, it gives you a 5% haste increase for 10 seconds. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for the guide for the Demon Hunter. Let me know in the comments how you guys are liking the Demon Hunter. I think the Demon Hunter has always been a lot of fun to play. And it's one of those classes that is just because of the speed and the ability to move around so quickly has always made it very fun, especially with the lining up of the cooldowns to burst down AoE mobs as well as single target. Makes this a very fun class to play, and there definitely is some utility. As always, guys, if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up, click that subscribe button, and turn those notifications on so you guys know when the next video does go live. And as always, guys, remember that life is a circus. Enjoy the freak show, and I will see you guys next time.